John and Mike, brew-dudes.com, and we had a viewer request to do a check-in on our homegrown hop adventures this year. I've been growing hops in my backyard for 11 years, and wow. I think the 11-year plant is on its way. I don't know. I didn't really tend to it, COVID times. I didn't water as much as I wanted to. But the 5-year plant, the Chinook, that if we should probably actually link to this video in the description, because that was the one video we did last year that we said, like, sometimes homegrown hops make good beer. Yep. I think I had 3 varieties that I went with. I had the Magnum, which makes all right lagers, the Nugget, which I ripped out of the ground last fall, and then the Chinook, which I've kept here, and it's almost ready to harvest. But like I've had like a sad tale of hops kind of starting, not starting. Like I actually in that plot had Cascade, and something came up and dug out all my rhizomes. That used to be right here on the corner. Yep. So that got planted in 2013. No, sorry, that got planted in 2011. We had cones that we used in a beer in 2013. The fall, winter of 2013 going into 2014, some animal ripped them up, and I was so sad. I think then I just stopped talking about planting and growing hops because I was sad that some animal took out half of my
which seems strange.
plants. Yeah, I don't know, but like then I've put down like a grate on top of, like, in the wintertime, like until they start growing, there's protection, you know what I mean? And then this 2015, I actually had to look into my email, and like, because I remember, putting in the order and asking, I think my brother, if he wanted to order some too. And so that's when I ordered the Chinook, and that's what's growing here. So we got a beautiful picture of the cones and how tall that thing is, and and it's just like over 5 years. Last year, like I'd say, like after year 3, it really started banging. And I think that's what all the techs say. Yep. That 3-year plants are really when you start seeing like a good amount of cones. Last year was great. This year has been kind of a hot, dry spring and summer for us here in the good old New England area. I think we're in like moderate drought conditions. And I think it does affect the plants. I mean, last year I had more cones. It's not like I have like a little, or this has been it's gonna be a bad harvest this year, but certainly last year I had a lot more. But we looked at the cones. The ones on the top seem to be ready to pick from what I can see. You can start seeing some browning. I think like as you get used to growing hops and you check out the cones, you get to understand like what dry feels like when you read all the text about, like, well, squeeze it and see, if it bounces back. If it bounces back, that's not good. That sort of, or if it does bounce back, it's it's ready to go. If it feels papery and it sounds papery and it smells hoppy when you take one in your hand and just smush it around.
A little bit of yellowing at the tips of each little leaflet and stuff sort of tells you it's ready to go.
I mean, it's hard. Like, I'm looking at the top, I'm like, am I going to check every single cone? No, but I think if you see a grand majority are all in that sort of stage of them being dry, that's when I pull it out, and that's when I start cutting them down and plucking them and drying them out. Anyway, so that's the update. 5 years of planting this, and feel really happy about this one. As an added bonus, I am going to get these cones tested for, alpha acids or whatever. Like I found some site online that allows for you to I guess, ship a few cones. I'll have to take a look at the fine print, but like get them tested and see like, what is the composition of these hops and how it might compare to commercial examples. But either way, good or bad, we're gonna brew with them. I still have like bags in my freezer from last year's harvest, so I may get those tested too, just to see the comparison year over year.
So
but we'll see.
So a couple quick hit questions, right? Okay. Is how often do you water it?
Maybe like 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay.
Like if I remember. Right. That's like you know, when I'm on it, I'm on it. Yeah.
Do you have a after season or early spring, any type of fertilizing or composting plan you do with it, or is it's just getting what nutrients it gets?
I think that I have added, and it, you know, so yes. So like I'd say like when I have like a few strong vines growing, they're probably, you know, maybe a third of the way of their full growth. That's when I do add some compost or some like organic fertilizer, whatever I have for my garden.
Sure,
like
sure.
Vegetable
for your vegetable
garden.
Yeah, same thing.
Same
okay,
thing.
Cool.
I don't know if that's right, but it certainly seems like it keeps things going and from dying.
So do you not use the big, well-known brand name thing in the green can?
No.
No, you don't use that.
No,
okay.
no,
okay.
no.
Just people want to.
No. I think my brother was using like coffee grounds.
Yeah.
And he had success with that.
That helped
he
out
claimed
a lot.
that helped out
That's
a lot.
That's a video from many
years ago. I usually just use like what I have from, you know, food waste and things like that.
Yeah. So some kitchen compost.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the last question, in the spring, you probably get a bunch of new growth and stuff coming up. Do you give it a few weeks or something? Do you selectively cut back yourself down to 3 binds, 20 binds, 2 binds? What do you do?
Some years I select, and then like this year I didn't. I just let it go.
Okay. I'm a total wild hop.
Yeah, just let it go.
I just never get to it. All of a sudden it's a mess and I don't want to cut it.
Yeah. So that's what brings up my 11-year-old plant that we're not really showcasing. One, the root ball seems to be coming out of the ground.
Mm-hmm.
2, I didn't like take care of that, you know, maybe because I knew these hops are good, that one's just okay.
Yeah.
But I didn't give it the TLC that it probably deserved this year, especially with the drought-like conditions. And I probably should have watered it more, probably should have fertilized it. I didn't. And it's really showing it didn't have, it's not like it's dead, but it's certainly like not like what we're seeing over here.
Yeah.
I have some cones growing. I'll probably have, you know, a good harvest from it, but it's just not as vigorous as this plant is. And I think in the late fall, I'm going to have to think about what I'm going to do with that plant. I might have to dig it up and then, you know, see what I can do with that root ball to make it like under the earth, because it seems to be growing up. And I think, I don't know, like a lot of things I've read, like, you know, I think that sometimes these hop plants kind of start to die off, you know, but that's all, you know, things that I've seen. It's not necessarily true, but I think some maintenance needs to be had. And I'll tell you, man, like even the one that I pulled up from last year, the nugget one, that was an adventure, because I'd pull it and then, you know, I kept going. It had spread throughout my yard.
Yeah, I tried to pull up some of mine this year, and I abandoned that project, and so now I've just got hops growing in a total mess, because getting those plants out, and mine were only 3 years old at that point, so getting those out of the ground was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do about this. So it's tough.
Yep.
Cool.
So that's the update. I know people were asking. I know that some of our viewers are like, can't grow hops where I live because it's just too darn hot, and you know, and so I feel for you. But the other thing is, I don't know. It's kind of like an adjunct to the hobby.
Yeah.
You know, I grow them. They look, you know, it looks interesting on the side of my house.
Yeah.
You know, and then you do have hops that you can use in your brew. I think it's a lot of just trying to figure out if, you know, what kind of styles they'll work in.
Yep.
And then this year, you know, if I get, I will get them tested. If I will share the results, and we'll see what we get out of that. It's like what? It's going to cost me money. So just to know, we're doing it for the dash.
We're doing it for the dash.
We're doing it for the dash. All right. So hopefully this has been helpful, or if not, just like kind of just a brew log from these guys, these brew dudes, about their own home growing hop adventures. If you have things you'd like to share, if you're growing hops at home and you have questions or just comments or thoughts, put them down below. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We talk about beer, we talk about home brewing, we talk about hop growing, you know, that sort of thing, and we do it every week. For John and Mike, brew-dudes.com. My beer's down there. I will drink after that. Brew on.
Cheers.
Cheers.